Well, because it's true to form. McAfee was a luminary. He was also very hilarious, also very enigmatic, but also full of a lot of wisdom. So there's a lot of medley of information and entertainment in this particular episode as we merged 4 or 5 different episodes, five episodes that we get. 5 times we interviewed John McAfee for the show, and then other times we hung out with him not for the show.
You know, he'd want this to be funny though, right? He'd be like, you guys make some badass jokes. And for us, because as many times you've heard us reference our producer Aaron, who gets to muddle through all of the audio and edit it to bring out the best so that what you get in your ears as final content is as polished as it can be when you've got the blockchain blockheads here doing it. We're pleased to welcome Aaron Sell to the show today. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, guys.
This is different, isn't it?
It is. It's a little weird. It's been a while.
We're sitting in Travis's Travis. So what do you call this place?
One is the official name would be the Wright Villa, but I think I like the Trav Villa.
The Trav Villa. We're in Luquillo, Puerto Rico, at Travis's place.
Trav Villa.
The Trav Villa. We had some burgers today. Travis grilled out, spent some time at the pool, and now the 3 of us are here, and we're going to do this a little uniquely today. But first, I want Aaron to kind of share, what we've gone through to pull this together, because you've been tasked, along with some of our badassadors, of helping us create this content.
Yes, so I spent many hours going through all of the episodes, and a huge shout out and thank you to the badassadors, because it would have taken me even longer had I not had them give me the basically the down low.
Because we invited them to be tasked with listening to one of the episodes and providing some notes. So
timestamps for the
timestamps, yeah.
Yep. Which badassadors were the ones that exactly helped out?
So let's see. King Snorky was one.
Jimmy.
Fat Jimmy.
Fat Jimmy.
Fat Jimmy. Who is surprisingly not fat, but his amps are.
Makes the best amps in the world. Apparently, a lot of different musicians out there love the Fat Jimmy amps.
FatJimmyAmps.com.
FatJimmyAmps.com, I believe, or just Google Fat Jimmy Amps. Probably find it.
So what happens if people go to KingSnorky.com? No, don't. Do not go there. We don't know.
It's a private Pornhub page.
Technical Rift will.
Yep. Technical Rift will helped, and the other one.
Is that what? MNNO
LMNOP.
MSMP82.
Okay.
And it's anonymous badassador who helped.
And then we realized that we actually had 5.
Right.
Because Virtual Blockchain Week never got put out as an actual show. It just went on YouTube. So I had to do that one on my own.
Oh, nice.
So you listened to all 5 of these interviews, and today we're going to review the edits. We're going to play from each of these, but I observed you doing this, and you came to me times because you were so moved by it. So talk about your experience of listening to all these shows again, because it was pretty fresh, right, when we decided we were going to do this, but we didn't want to rush it.
I feel like I'm getting emotional again just thinking about it. I don't know why, but I was really just taken by John and I always enjoyed when he was on the show, and then listening to everything, and it was just like, oh my God, is brilliant. And it was really good for me to go through. Everybody enjoys the clips I picked. So it was really just a privilege and an honor to put this together in memory.
So this might be an emotional roller coaster, folks, but it will be a nice one and only.
Yeah, and I think it's important, while we've talked about the conditions of his death and our thoughts on all of that in this episode, we don't really need to go towards that this is, whatever happened, he's no longer with us. And I think we should focus on the content and remembering him for who he was.
I agree with that, but there's one little small part of me that says, dude, John bribed some guy there in Spain in the prison, and he escaped. He sent him some crypto, and so there's some part of me that says John is somewhere like in Indonesia,
Tahiti,
or someplace. I mean, you never know with that guy. But I mean, rest in peace, brother.
All right. Well, what Aaron has done is taken several hours of content and edited out quite a bit to bring you some of the highlights from each of the 5 interviews. So you might discover that some of the interviews feel a little choppy, that we're going from one topic and quickly moving to another. Just realize there's a lot of content edited out. And if you want to go back and find the full ones, they're all listed in the show notes and linked to. But, if all of a sudden we go talking about one topic to another, that's why. So with no further ado, let's jump into episode number 100, the first time we got to speak with John McAfee. Let's do it.
Parental advisory, explicit content. Parental discretion is advised.
This podcast is rated E for excellent. There is no one in the blockchain space more controversial than John McAfee. Once the founder of a software company that he now disowns, John has a rap sheet that's longer than his biography. Some people love him, some people hate him, and there's probably a few people who don't know who he is. But you are about to embark on a journey into the mind of a true internet pioneer and blockchain enthusiast. Warning, this episode is rife with language and content which may offend your sensibilities. John said we could ask him absolutely anything, so we did.
Out of all of the shows that we've done, this right here is, to me, when we were finished with it, I was like, wow, that to me is the highlight of Bad Crypto so far. Very few people give less fucks than John McAfee.
He doesn't have any left to give. I mean, let's be honest. And you're going to hear a lot of them in this interview. So you guys are ready for this? I think you're ready.
Sit down.
Sit down. Sit down. Listen. Enjoy. John McAfee.
I'm doing good. I think my rap sheet is longer than my bio card.
Everyone wants to know about John McAfee's dick. And what condiments are you going to use? Are you going to barbecue it? Is it going to be a skewer? Are you going to boil your dick, bake your dick, make a dick lasagna? What are the logistics? What are the logistics of this?
The first question is going to be, am I going to sever it before I eat it? I mean, no one's asked that.
That's true.
Well,
might be really flexible.
I'm not concerned about condiments or anything else, because I can promise you now, I do not bet on anything that I have any opportunity of losing on. I'm fucking Irish, so please God. No, that is a sure thing. So yeah, I'm not eating my dick because I can't lose the bet, because mathematics says I can't fucking lose it. No, work it out, kids.
Okay, so what do you think is everything that's happening right now? Is it pure market manipulation? Is this simply suppression so that the big boys can come in and acquire as much as possible, or are there other forces at work?
So who benefits from chaos in the crypto market? Governments and banks. Now, have governments and banks even noticed us? Fuck yes. Have they tried to fuck with us? Fuck yes. You guys certainly know Brock Pierce. He's the only other man in this industry who will say and do whatever he fucking wants.
Snappy dresser.
Well, he is, and he's a good friend of mine. And do not ever try to out-party that motherfucker. Why don't you go back to the Beatles and listen to John Lennon's Imagine one more fucking time. Imagine. There's no country. It's easy if you try. Imagine there's just people living day to day. See, that's my view of the world, and you need to get that view of the world if you're going to be in this fucking cryptocurrency thing, because this is what we're behind. We're not behind power for the country, for a group, for whites, for blacks, for Hispanics, or Eskimos, who are supposed to be the best fucks on the planet. I don't know. I've never tried. When this started, do you think that people were buying Bitcoin for an investment? No. They were buying Bitcoin because they saw in this magic, this mathematics created by Satoshi. a means of taking that fucking power that tells you what to do, when to do it. Don't smoke weed. Or if you do, do it in a state where it's legal and only because you need it medically. Fuck that shit. No, I don't want people telling me at my age what I can and cannot do with my own body and my own mind.
His body, his choice.
Pardon? My body, my choice. So yeah, Satoshi gave these sheep power beyond belief. What do they do with it? Ooh, we can make money. Well, fuck that shit. That's what got you in this position to begin with. The government says, we'll let you work 9 to 5, 5 days a week. You belong to me. And I'm going to take 20% of the money that you earn working 5 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year, until you reach the age of 60 and you're too old to do anything. We're going to let you off and give you a pittance for retirement and a gold goddamn watch. This is your life, people.
Do you think that Satoshi Nakamoto was an entity, or do you think it was potentially the NSA who created this cryptocurrencies originally?
Like, you started this conversation with an absolute falsehood. Nobody knows who Sakamoto Nashimoto is.
It is hard to say.
Nobody knows who he is. You are absolutely incorrect on that.
Okay.
Absolutely incorrect. And there are many who knows who he is, and none will ever divulge. I'm telling you now.
Let's do a quick lightning round, like short answers, just boom, top of mind. I got 10 of them. They're all over the map. All right, you ready?
I'm ready, yes.
All right, here we go. Fast answers. Jamie Dimon.
Asshole number one. Next.
Newport cigarettes.
Pardon?
Newport cigarettes.
And any cigarette is good.
Bitcoin Cash.
I love Jihan, and I also love Roger Ver. They're the smartest people I know. I'm fully behind them. I don't care if they're kidnapping old ladies and using them for sex slaves. I'm behind them. Next.
Most beautiful place in the world.
Belize.
Fake Twitter accounts.
They're a lot of fun to play with, and I sometimes go in just to see what I'm doing and recommending as other people.
Comfiest shoes.
I'm wearing them right now. I don't know if you can see them. What's the brand? All right.
All right. What's the brand?
I have no clue. There's no brand on them. Okay. I buy everything cheap and brandless. The first thing you do when you free yourself is you free yourself from brands.
All right. How about people who get offended?
My Twitter followers.
Ethereum.
It's the only thing that I use for actual payments and buying things.
Last one. Best album ever.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I would have to say Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Their first album, I think it was just called Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Teach your children well.
That was very good. And you were talking about mobile phones and why they are so treacherous, the security on those. So, because a lot of people are just keeping all their crypto on their mobile device. So what would you tell people who are doing that, and maybe some thoughts around that?
But keep in mind that all mobile phones and all mobile devices are designed for one and one purpose only. That is to spy on you. Why? How are they going to sell you something unless they know where you are, who you're with, what you're doing, what you like, or what you're talking about? Now, is that insidious? Oh, really? If they want to sell me shoes and I don't want to buy them, I can choose not to buy them. What is insidious is because those features are fundamental to the making money for Google, for Sprint, for Samsung, since they are fundamental elements of the architecture. If I'm a hacker, I'm going to go, good God, I really should be sending 90% of my income to Google and AT&T and Samsung, because they're allowing me to steal from you. Because they're allowing me to know where you are, who your friends are, get your contacts list, get you to go to any porn site in the world where I have paid them to put a link in that you want to click, and in that link is my keystroke logger. It gets installed. Now I've got your keystroke, so that when you do access your wallet, I don't give a shit what kind of any kind of compression or cryptography you are using, do I give a shit? No, because I'm watching you type it in. You type it in, go ahead, encrypt it. I don't give a shit. There's nobody in the middle anymore. Nobody's listening. No one's trying to decrypt it. They're looking at screen captures and keystroke loggers. If you can see it in the clear, I, as a hacker, can see it in the clear. Get real, people. So now, if you're going to use a wallet, use an offline hard wallet. Before you plug the fucker in, disconnect from the internet. So God, for God's sake, keep your seed keys private. Don't use Ethereum free wallet, and use an offline hard wallet. And remember, the instant you turn on your smartphone, the world is listening and watching, and will always do so. I'm giving you the best master key anybody's giving you for unlocking your door and getting the hell out of the prison that you, because you are sheep, have placed yourself in. God forbid you fuck with that. You're fucking with me.
He's dropping red pills, folks. He's dropping red pills everywhere. So let me ask you this then. The fiat is in total disarray, and there's talks about governments then issuing crypto. How long before we have a Fed coin, before the final move from the collapse of fiat to crypto as government?
The sovereign coins, yeah.
Well, I hope it's long enough for us to have finally understood what we're doing, which is in getting away from the Fed, from the national currencies. Well, it'll be another fiat currency, only it'll be digital. And we will not buy that shit, because we will already have coinage that's fucking functional, does the job for which it's intended, and we are using it for that job. Let's hope it's that way, because no one will buy it, no one will use it, and we will laugh at it and continue on our separate ways. End of story, and I enjoyed being on, John. Thank you.
Thanks, John. We appreciate it.
That was a lot to unravel there on that very first time we chatted with him. Seriously, it was the first time we interviewed him, and the biggest thing was that he was going to cut his dick off if Bitcoin wasn't $1 million.
He was going to eat it.
He was going to eat it. He was going to eat his dick. So we had to ask that question first. That's why it was a little cringy to hear this. I'm like, here's the memorial episode for John Mack, and immediately coming out of the gates with the dick question.
I think he would have appreciated it.
I think he did appreciate that. I like the dick lasagna.
The dick on you.
Yeah. The thing that got me about that was how he talked about mobile phones. That was one of the things that I took out from that first interview. It's like so many people keeping their stuff on the mobile phones, and he goes, "Look, people, they're going to hack your phones. They want to know where you are, and they want to know who you're with, and what you buy, and how are they going to advertise you. It's your tracking device. Basically, the powers that be figured out a way to get everybody to willingly accept their own tracking device everywhere they go. Like, it is pretty amazing if you think about it from that construct. And there's a lot of great gems in that first piece there.
Yeah, he was definitely unlike anybody that we had spoken to before, and more about the wager that Bitcoin was going to hit 1 million in a future episode. But the second time we had the pleasure to interview John was on episode number 200. So again, this was, the first time was March 20th, 2018. So it was after that last Bitcoin run where it went to almost 20,000 and they then came crashing down. We had him back on in the fall of that year. It was actually Halloween, October 31st, 2018, episode number 200, our second encounter with the late, great John McAfee.
Why am I running? Because by running, you get access to the national stage. From that stage, I intend to promote the blockchain and cryptocurrency and the potential freedom and individual power that it can offer us. Now, what better way to do that? Well, actually, one of my people just made a banner for me. It says, "I'm John McAfee. I promise I won't grab your pussy."
So the presidential run is purely to get a platform. Are you running as a libertarian or an independent?
Yeah.
What?
I'm running as a libertarian because they've already got access in all 50 states. They've got their people on the ground. It's just going to be so much easier for me. and it'll be easier for me to get into the presidential debates. Now, if I do not get that magic 10% support from the population, it's not going to matter to me. I'm going to make so much fucking noise, and I will embarrass this two-party system so badly that I will force their asses to get me on stage with Republican and Democrat.
We saw this past week with the circus statism, and everybody believes that government's going to save us in everything.
Media circus we've been watching. I think the absurdity of politics has reached the point that even the most unawake person in our society sees now the absolute absurdity, the circus nature, the fact that, good God, people, is this our government we're watching? Sadly, yes, it is. Do you think that it is not possible that these people are already in every one of our technology companies, and we are in every one of China's and Russia's? This is a spy on spy on spy problem here. Once you get into Apple, if you are in fact technologically competent, work hard, you're going to get promoted. You're going to get some power. You are then going to start hiring your friends.
Good to be back.
18 months doing fuck, well, not doing fuck all, doing building work, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I'd rather earning 40, 50 quid a day. I'd rather earn fucking 200 by 11 o'clock and go home doing this.
How is it? Is it busy?
2 a day and I go home. Yesterday I went home at 10:30. I've had one, so I've got another one going on.
Yeah.
Like Mike said, only do 2 a day to start with.
Yeah.
Like fucking after, you know, fucking, if I get a grand a week after earning fucking peanuts. But I think, because I pay the stamp and everything, John.
Right, yeah.
I've been getting benefits, been getting housing money,
Yeah, yeah.
social benefits. I've been doing a jobs plus training scheme,
Wow.
and I rent out my spare room $300 a month. I was
Steve Vate's still with you?
No, he left ages ago. He's been sacked as well.
Oh, he's gone back to England, has he? Or?
No, he went back to San Antonio. Second day he got sacked for being too negative.
Really?
One of the new fellas got a deal. Oh, let's see if it sticks. You don't say shit like that.
No,
You know what I mean? Fucking, you know, as John said, we don't need that negativity, mate. Get the fuck out of it. I'll still speak out of word, but you can't be like that. More, fucking shit. You know,
Yeah.
you're on £700 a month basic now, and he's negging everyone out. Fuck.
Good luck, mate.
See you, mate.
The fact that we have just, where our plant just come out of the ground. It's a big tree, but right now it's a tiny little shoot with 2 leaves. But anybody who knows botany knows that in 2 years, that's going to be a very sturdy thing.
There's got to be some sort of event that's going to take place. What do you think it is, and when do you think it's going to happen?
Well, it'll certainly happen within 12 months. What the event will be, I don't really know, and I don't really care. There is a pressure building. Have you ever seen a mushroom break through concrete? It happens, always. If there's a mushroom spore, you put the concrete down, you get into water, the mushroom will break the concrete.
What things do you think could be the instigator of that?
Distributed exchanges. And why? Because that will give us the emotional confidence. We can't be shut down now. No government in the world can shut down a distributed exchange.
Are you one of those people that do you buy and sell a lot with your crypto, or do you still, what percentage would you say of your transactions are crypto versus fiat?
Well, I don't have any transact because I don't own anything and I have no money and haven't for 30 years. The people here at Team McAfee, they do all this stuff. I live off the kindness of my friends and my employees, okay? They let me live in this house. They let me drive these cars. They let me have this boat. So I don't do any of that. I have no money to do it with.
Have you seen a distributed or decentralized solution for social media yet? Because we need one.
These are all aspects of a centralized power structure, exemplified by corporations. That's the ultimate centralized power structure with all of its corruption, control, power, everything. We are moving away from that. You can see this with just the currencies. Companies are not going to exist. Why do you need a fucking corporation to manage Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero? We, the people, manage it through our own transactions.
Keller Fisher Law, he wants to know your 5-year vision of crypto future.
I think in 5 years, fiat will be on its last leg, and governments will be panicking on how to get revenue, and the world is going to change. My wife has run off with my neighbor, taken my dogs, emptied my bank account, and set fire to my clothes in the backyard.
Janice wouldn't do that. She's right there, right? She's not going to do that.
Janice, be nice, honey. Don't be treated like that.
Why don't you look at life and look at the things you wish you could change? Maybe you want more privacy. Maybe you would like Amazon replaced because for whatever reason, they don't put you into Amazon Prime or whatever. Trust me, if you look around this field, there are over 4,000 coins or tokens now. Find something that attempts to solve that problem. How hard is that? See, people are not thinking for themselves. This is not rocket science.
Any other final words of wisdom, Mr. John McAfee, for our wonderful Bad Crypto audience today?
Stay the course. If you truly love crypto, stay the course. Do what you love. Do the right thing and get ready for a war. I mean, an economic, social, cultural war of enormous proportions. Do not be afraid of anything. Histories. Only if you're willing to accept everything that comes and roll with it. So, thank you very much.
October 31st, 2018. He sure did like to challenge people.
Think about that. We did 100 episodes in like 5 months there. Like we were doing 4 episodes a week there for a while. We
Yeah.
were churning out the content.
We still are doing 4 episodes a week. It's just Too Bad Crypto and Too Nifty Show.
Well, that's true. That is true. What really got me on this one is the fact that, so he got jailed because the U.S. government for taxes, and but here he said plainly is that I own nothing. Things were set up in trusts. They were set up. No business, no money was directly being sent to John McAfee. So in his mind, in his world, the way he had set it up, he owned nothing and was happy. See, that's what we need, the Great Reset, baby. So to me, even though he has his entity set up, had it in trust, the government still came after him because it was all set up.
Mm-hmm. And that's why, he was very plain to say the greatest enemy we have is not foreign enemies, it's from within.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our own government. That's a scary thought.
Well, what does a government typically do? Over time, they gain more and more and more power.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason the United States was set up was to really eliminate that power, or eliminate the power of the king and give it back to the people. But slowly what has happened is, the individual states had their rights, right? But then all of a sudden the federal government sort of usurped all those rights and now the federal government's the one. And think about this. People in the federal government, it's so hard for them to get fired. Like, it's like,
right.
If you get a job as a federal government employee, like, it's pretty much you can do whatever they want. So that's why there's so many rogue elements within the government, because there's no repercussions. They have 0% chance of losing their job.
It requires an act of Congress.
To fire somebody.
To fire somebody really
It's
does.
unbelievable when you think about that. Like, what other industry is it that you cannot get fired from? Name one. Government? Are you serious? That's the one that they should be fired the most, because like if you're doing a piss poor job, you're not meeting certain standards by the people, boom, you're done. If you're corrupt or you're a communist and you're not part of the Americans, you need to go. But instead, what's happened over time is, especially since they offed Kennedy, is so many of these swamp creatures are just throughout the government, and they're unelected and they're unfireable. So how do you get rid of that?
Really good question. Well, we wanted to have John on episode number 300, but he was on the run.
He left Cuba or something, right?
He was all over the place.
He was all over the Caribbean.
He was all over, and we weren't sure, wow, is there a chance that we're not going to be able to get him for 300? Will he go missing? Will his life end? Will he be in prison? And so we just decided to be proactive. We invited him back to the show July 1st, 2019, and we broke our own Centennial Code. He was on episode number 281. We weren't sure if this was going to be the last time or not. Thankfully, it wasn't. But let's give it a listen.
I was last in the Bahamas, in a little island called the Exumas, a beautiful place. I went to the Bahamas, of course, because I was charged with income tax evasion. I haven't paid taxes in 8 years, and I will never pay them again. And I believe they're illegal and unconstitutional. But in any case, I went to the Bahamas because they have no income tax. You cannot extradite someone from a country where the crime you're extraditing them for is not a crime in the country that you're in. So I was safe. Then 3 weeks ago, I don't know whether it was the FBI or the CIA, approached the Bahamian government informally with charges of murder, racketeering, and money laundering. And all bogus. The idea was to get the extradition, which they would have to extradite me on those charges, then drop those charges and then prosecute me on my